What's up, y'all? JR Raymond back again, coming to you from BowlerX Pro Shop and Training Center here inside Waterford Lanes, where today we're going to lay out the new swag ball, the new, hold on, it's the Big Bro Knockout. That's the one. That's the one with the video where you saw they were making it in the factory. You could actually see this ball being made by the machines and everything, which was pretty cool. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check that video out. That's over on my channel. But here, we're going to lay this out. We're going to try to figure out what to do with it, and we'll talk about the dual angles a little bit here in a minute, so stay tuned. All right, here we go. So we've got the Big Bro Knockout, which is the newest ASIM Pearl from Swag. And I'm excited about this because the texture of their pearls, when they put a little bit of surface on them like this, are so good. So they haven't quite, in my opinion, figured out the shiny pearl yet. They haven't figured out the super clean, snappy pearl in their lineup yet. But they have like ones like the Joker Wild, like this one, that were really, really good. That Bloody Ocean Pearl was really good. It had surface on it. Same thing as this. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this. I'm going to do a little bit longer pen. And we're going to walk through the dual angles just a little bit, so that way a little bit of a refresher course for anybody that is wondering about dual angles and trying to learn about them a little bit more. On these bowling balls, we have what is the pin, which is considered the top of the core, the CG, which is the center of gravity, and then the PSA, or the mass bias. So it's positive spin axis, or preferred spin axis. Those are the three markings that come on an asymmetric ball. So if you don't know what an asymmetric ball is, look up a different video that'll tell you what they are, show you what they are. On this ball, we have asymmetry, so we are going to draw a straight line from the center of the pin to the mass bias, or the PSA. So we have that first straight line there. That keeps us in line. Sometimes this CG could be here, sometimes it could be over here. The CG doesn't always go in line with the mass bias. So that's not really a concern when we're talking about laying out an asymmetric ball. In order to do the first angle, we have to put the center of the zero right here on the pin with it all lined up straight front to back through the mass bias back here. On here you can see there are angles for a right-handed bowler. I am right-handed, so I'm laying it out for myself, all the way from 0 to 85 degrees. The closer to 20, this first angle is going to determine how quick you want to get that ball, the core of the ball, to start getting into its roll, to get through the skid phase and start trying to get that core to take over. So the closer to 20 you go, the earlier it's going to roll. The closer to 90 you go, or all the way up to 85, the longer it's going to go until it starts to try to take over. I'm a big fan of trying to find something in between. I don't want it to be too long. I don't want it to be too early. So I always go right at about 45. So 45 is usually a pretty good safe number. So you make that mark at 45, and then you draw from the pin straight through that mark again. And now we have that first angle at 45 degrees. From here to here is 45 degrees, okay? So now the next angle we want is the distance is actually what we want, the pin distance. How far we want our pin to be from our positive axis point. Normally I would do 4.5, but with the Joker Wild, I think I did 5. So I'm actually gonna go a half an inch further, and I'm gonna do 5 inches on this as well, just to give you a little bit longer pin, a little bit more delay on everything, the flare, all that good jazz. So then you make your mark there. So now this is gonna be where your positive axis actually is, okay? So now you line up the 0 from there on that mark you just made, and you get it centered all the way up through the pin again. And now you can see we have these numbers on this side again. We have from 0 to 85. Now this third angle is going to determine how quickly the ball makes its corner, or how strong it reacts off of friction. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be long and strong, okay? Because this is just determining how quick of the friction it's going to hook. So if you have a lane, a pattern, something that is hooking a lot, if you make it like at 20 degrees and you put that tall pin, if it's hooking a lot, it's going to stand up in that. It's going to, once it sees friction, it's going to try and read it really fast. That's what this determines. So going a tall pin doesn't mean it's going to actually get down lane. It just means it's going to react strong once it sees friction. Okay, so we have to be careful with that. And sometimes going with a pin down layout can be beneficial because it blends out the overhook or all that friction. That's why a lot of times you'll see people going to pin down layouts when they move really far left into all the dirt, because it blends out that middle part of the lane and it shoots through there, or it doesn't overreact off of all that friction that's in there. So for me, I want to kind of be in between. I don't want it to really overreact and I don't want it to really underreact. So I'm going with 45 again, right in between, okay? Make that mark there, and then you draw a straight line through your positive axis point through that line you just made, okay? So now we know this is, again, so you can see you got 45 degrees here, and now you got another 45 degrees over here, okay? So from that angle to that angle, this angle, 45, 45, and then your pin distance of 5 inches there. Now we have to determine what our positive axis is. For me, I am 4 3/4 over by 1 1/8 up. So in order to make this 1 1/8 up, I have to measure down 1 1/8, and that would be where my center line gets drawn over. So 1 1/8 is right there. So now I line up straight across from there, and I draw my line all the way over and make a mark at 4 3/4. Now I have my mark at 4 3/4. I draw my line up straight through. Now this right here is the center of my grip, which means my fingers are going to be here and my thumb will be there. So that will end up being your 45 by 5 by 45 layout. So we're going to drill this up. I'm going to take it out on the lanes. We're going to do a full review on this, and then I'll also show you just 5 or 6 shots of a quick review as well. You'll be able to see a couple different reviews on this and all the other balls, but this is all I got for this. But yeah. All right, so there you go. So that is the layout for that Big Bro knockout. I'm pretty excited to take that out on the lanes because, again, like I said, those pearls that come from California bowling that have that little bit of a sheen to it, not shiny, but has a little surface on it, those are always really good. So I'm excited to take this out. We've got 45 by 5 by 45. We're gonna take it out there, and one of the next videos coming up, you'll see the full review, but this was to teach you a little bit about layouts, get you to understand the dual angle system just a little bit more, so that way now when you walk into a pro shop, you've got a little bit more knowledge and you can figure out what you want to do with a bowling ball as well. So that's all I got for you. If you want to get one of these and pre-order or whatever, I'm not sure that they're available yet, but if you want to pre-order one of these, hit the link in the description and you can get yours over at BowlerX.com. Otherwise, come up here to BowlerX Pro Shop and Training Center in Waterford Lanes and we'll get you taken care of as well. That's all I got for you. So I'm going to get out of here. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Take care.